I'm Gabriel Morency for Sports Interaction. We're going to keep this week's video segment relatively brief since we've all already lost 2.5 hours of our life that, like Tiger Woods' dominance, is not coming back. Congratulations to the UConn Huskies for quote-unquote winning the national championship game on Monday night. And props to Butler for making it back to the finals for 2 consecutive years. But you know what? If I wanted to watch a bunch of white dudes shoot 18% from the field and go 12 of 64 from the field, I'd walk down the street to my local YMCA. Fortunately, Nick Diaz is going to make us forget the nightmare that was Monday night. Nick Diaz, one of the most entertaining fighters in all of mixed martial arts, takes on Paul Daley, one of the best knockout artists in all of mixed martial arts. Now, Strikeforce fighters used to fight under a comfort zone, knowing that Scott Coker couldn't release you after a loss because all the other fighters fight in the UFC. Well, right now, Scott Coker isn't in control anymore. And don't think for a second this isn't a must-win situation for Paul Daley. Paul Daley's already been kicked out of the UFC, and it's hard to get kicked out of the UFC. Quentin Rampage Jackson nearly killed like 6 people going on a rampage, and a guy got a Ultimate Fighter TV coaching gig for his efforts. Let's see, Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen took steroids as a crooked real estate agent. He'll be back. He got fined $2,500. Tito Ortiz attacked Jenna Jameson. He gets fights in the UFC. Paul Daley hits Josh Koscheck after the bell, and he gets kicked out. That tells me that Paul Daley better win against Nick Diaz. Otherwise, he's going to end up fighting in Edmonton, Alberta for the rest of his life. And I don't know if Daley is aware of this, but it's pretty damn cold in Edmonton, Alberta. Can Daley win? Yes, he can. I think Diaz's line is a little bit high, but ultimately, Nick Diaz is not only a tough fighter, he's also a smart fighter. Yes, he's going to stand in exchange and bang with Daley a little bit, I think just because of his ego, but he will understand that to win this fight, you take Daley down, and I expect that to happen. Now, Mousasi gets Keith Jardine, and I like Keith Jardine. You know, the guy seemingly has tough fight after tough fight. He just can't catch a break as far as the scheduling is concerned, and then he gets an easy fight, but unfortunately for him, it's in like the Dominican Republic. And I don't think Keith Jardine's been paid for a fight in like a year or something like that. So Keith Jardine needs the money. And I'll tell you what, speaking of money, there's no way in hell that Mousasi's getting my money. He may be great at the Shudo and the grappling and the Sambo this, and he's everything that. And I'll tell you what, I'm not giving him my money. There's no way I'm going to be laying the extremely high price that's out there on Gegard Mousasi against Keith Jardine. For me, it's Jardine or nothing, as crazy as it sounds. I'm going to be all over Gilbert Melendez, though. Melendez is one of the best fighters in the world that people don't talk about. He will get it done. Kawajiri's a badass, but Melendez has a chip on his shoulder, and now, there's a lot of negatives for fighters, but you want to talk about positives? A guy like Gilbert Melendez, he's been clamoring to fight the world's best, and he's been unable to do it for the most part. They always have to send him to Japan and fight the Japanese guys because Strikeforce just doesn't have enough lightweights to throw at him. Well, now you throw in the UFC guys. It's a huge fight for Gilbert Melendez. He's not going to let the opportunity slip through his fingers. Now, props to the SIA alliance makers. Good job, boys. Finally getting the Bellator championship fighting up there. Bellator is great fighting. Every week, you're going to get like one of the best knockout finishes. I don't know how they do it, how it happens that way, but the best knockout finishes and Superman kicks and just devastating blows seemingly come from Bellator. And we're going to be all over the former Missouri Tiger wrestler Michael Chandler and our boy, the thoroughbred Jay Huron on Saturday night. Now, there's not just fighting going down. The Boston Red Sox still haven't won a baseball game, and don't look now. Who do they get? The New York Yankees. Now, is 0-6 the end of the world? No. Is 0-9 the end of the world? Yes, it especially is if you're the Boston Red Sox. You're 0-6. You get the New York Yankees, the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Toronto Blue Jays right now with an 0-6 record. It's hard to believe that we're going to say that these games are must-win games for the Boston Red Sox this early in a Major League Baseball season. I've never seen this before. I've never seen a home opener basically be a must-win baseball game. But as crazy as it is, and trust me, Boston sports fans are crazy, this is a huge series. In fact, this is a huge week for the Boston Red Sox. And this is why I don't bet on Major League Baseball futures. Now, the Boston Red Sox, they could start 0-9 and they could still win the World Series. It's not the end of the world, but there's no way in hell they're going to be getting to the 100-win plateau right now. With every loss, all you future bettors out there, you're sinking and you're thinking, all right, now we got to go 156. Now we got to go 152. It's just not going to happen. That's why I don't bet on Major League Baseball win totals, not only because I have the patience of a squirrel in a park, but because I just don't see it as good enough value. Now, speaking of value, the New York Rangers wasted a valuable opportunity to basically lock down a playoff spot. They couldn't beat the Atlanta Thrashers, despite the fact they were playing the world's most famous arena. Now, the Carolina Hurricanes have an opportunity to slide in the back door if the Rangers are unable to get it done against their metropolitan area rival, the New Jersey Devils. And don't think for a second the New Jersey Devils is going to give the New York Rangers a free pass. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to be all over the under in that hockey game. That's going to be a playoff-style game. First team to 2 wins. Give me the under on Saturday between the Rangers and El Diablos. El Diablos. Now, speaking of 0-6, Jimmy Johnson's actually 0-6 so far this year, and he actually hasn't won a race in 14 races. Now, Texas isn't his, it's not a dominant track for him. Matt Kenseth and Denny Hamlin are actually the 2 drivers who are dominant for all you guys that are into the numbers, but Jimmy's got to win at some point, doesn't he? There's not a lot of great value right now at 6-1. We consider that he's just not winning, but at some point, Jimmy's got to be in the winner's circle. And I've lost money on Double J a couple of times already this year, similar to Carl Edwards, so I'll go back to the well with the same 2 drivers that I take every week, Carl Edwards and Jimmy Johnson. I'm Gabriel Morency for Sports Interaction. May the winners be yours.